Thank you.
Okay, let's start from the top. Thanks again for being here for our primer on instruction on using the Microsoft Clipchamp video editor. And the goal of this meeting is not to get into how to make a video, but how to edit it. And this is a basic editor. There are pro editors, but we're going to be looking at just at this basic editor offered by Microsoft. So the agenda today is we're going to do an overview about what is Clipchamp, make sure everybody's ready, get ready for this, there's some terminology about using in video editing we can go over. And then what I really think is that the best way to learn this app is by doing it. We're going to jump in and use it. I do have some slides I want to go over, but I'll try to not spend too much time on that because I think the real way to learn is learn by doing. And then we'll create some a video with the clips we have, and then hopefully you can share some of those later. So what is Clipchamp? It's a browser editor that relies on the internet. It doesn't have a standalone app. It's basically a consumer grade. It does have some tools though, like AI powered tools. It does integrate also with OneDrive. Now, one thing that we should be aware of is you can use this without OneDrive, but if you do, any work in progress, you're going to lose that moment in time before you export your video. So you do have to have OneDrive in place. So if you do, you're in good shape. If you don't, then try not to get out of the program until you export that video. Here are some of the features. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but just to highlight a few is, of course, it's a video editor, meaning you can modify the clips you have, cut them, change the duration of them. And you'll see as we get into it what we can do. A video trimmer. You can crop it, you can resize it, you can overlay different videos on top of one another. And then you can add what we see are called transitions. It also has a recording and audio features. You can record from the camera, from the screen. But more important for us today is that we can use sound or music that will add to our videos. So we're going to want to try to practice doing that today. And we can either go online, and I'll furnish some internet links for that, or we can grab it from just Clipchamp itself, which I've done before, and I think their music is pretty cool. There's other things about styling, like if you're in business or a brand kit, stickers, emojis, shapes, and video templates, meaning if you intend to make your video for Instagram or YouTube, then they have those types of templates. And then finally, a lot of these artificial intelligence features. We're not going to really spend too much time on that. So the core editing tools, trim and split. When you bring a clip in, we'll learn how we can split them, delete sections of it that you don't want, and either extend or compress the time duration or the speed of the clip. Maybe there's a clip of a shark coming by you, and maybe you want to slow it down a little, give it kind of an effect for slow motion. We'll get into how to use the music and auto editing. We'll also look at how to add text, overlay text in titles. There's also filters and color. We spend some time on that, but not a lot. And then the transitions, we'll go over that too. We won't touch on picture, but that's a feature. These are just other features that with time you can try them later, but we're not going to really get into these. So this basically is the interface. On the left, you have basically where the media, just can't see that. On the left, you have what we call the media, my media, or the media pool area, where we'll drag our video clips into that area, or music video clips, or sound clips, any of the media that you want to present onto your timeline, which is shown in the middle. On the bottom is your timeline, and on the top you can see the viewer interface, which where you can see your video. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have any clips to put on the timeline, you can grab some from the far left column. We'll get into that. Okay, so we already, we pretty much know what we need to get started, because everybody assumes has got installed Clipchamp. If you haven't, please let us know.
I can just hear it.
Yes.
So have to have internet
Yes.
to use it, but there's no way to do it offline.
No. The question was, do you need internet? Yes. You cannot do it offline.
Download it. I downloaded it on my phone. I have it as an app on my phone.
As a
Standalone app.
Clipchamp?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Can you answer?
Carl's saying that he has a standalone app for Clipchamp. That wasn't what I found.
You have to look for it.
Okay. Okay. I didn't see that. Okay. I stand corrected. Okay. But here's for the internet, you look for the dive shop guest.
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, you're on. Okay. 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 Before we start with this, a word about your cameras and videos in general is that the video that the camera creates, different cameras have different ways of making their video. And so when you look at a video, there is a container, what we call a container. So that's the video type. So like MP4, movie files, .avi. And also, and then within those containers are the codecs, which is how basically the files are compressed. If it didn't compress it, it'd be very large and very difficult to deal with. So those, as shown in the slide, the H.264 codec is one that's typically used, or MP3 for audio. Clipchamp wants to use MP4 or MOV files with H.264 codecs. It will not accept AVI1 video codecs or HDR if that is what's coming out of your camera. A third thing that we have to think about is how the light from your camera is processed into the file it creates. And some cameras will use different algorithms or mathematics to create the footage. So for instance, I have a Sony camera. When that video, when I look at the video in a video player, it will look very dull, like on the left side. And then I have to process that in order to make it look normal, which is on the right side. So I'm not, depending on what clips you're bringing or working with, or what cameras you use, there may be an issue. Typically, if you use GoPro, that shouldn't be a problem. But for instance, my Sony records on what they call a S-Log3 or S Gamut 3 Cine algorithm for compressing the light for treating the exposure in the camera. If you do have this problem, and one thing I've been doing is I use a program called Shutter Encoder. Okay, and if you have that problem during this seminar, You may want to download that. I did bring a copy here for us here if we need it. So I presume that the clips you brought, you've already looked at. And if they look normal, then you probably aren't going to have this problem. But it's just something to know for the future. And it's easy, it's free, and it's easy to use, and it really will help you in processing your movies.
Jack, bear with me. I should know this, but with the video contest, if we submit these,
Yeah,
can you manipulate them with this kind of software and they still be eligible?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It depends what you do in the manipulation. As far as shutter and encoder, that's just making the clip correctly shown. But as far as what you do on the question was, would it be acceptable for the contest, the video contest? And we do have some certain rules that we have to follow for the video contest. So I just have to look at that and what you do with Clipchamp. Okay, some of the definitions in video editing, many may have already heard, but as I mentioned, the timeline is in the middle. Trim is obviously you're cutting unwanted parts of the clip. Transition, as we'll see, is when you have two clips together and you want to have a nice transition between the two. There's an effect. There's a number of transition effects that you can use, as we'll see, that transitions you from one clip to the other. I'm not going to go through all of these, but one thing that's common in video editing is what they call A-roll, which is your primary video footage that you're working on, and B-roll is secondary footage that you want to interject into your main roll for whatever effect you have. That's all I want to show on that. Let's watch a couple of finished videos. I'll show that in a moment. So one thing about creating a video, some considerations, is picture the end product that you want in your mind. So that, it may be we just want to show a trip someplace. You have some underwater photos, and maybe it's pretty much straightforward. But maybe you have a different audience that you want. That maybe you're trying to market your something. So you may want to think ahead what the vibe is of or the intent of your video. It could be a documentary, it could be a fun video, educational. So you kind of have to give some thought about what clips you want to put into it, and maybe what kind of music you want to use. So maybe have that kind of in mind as we do that today.
Jack, where's your camera on this? Can you turn that? It's not recording well. So can you maybe point, if this is your camera, yeah, try that.
Oh, okay.
And then when we ask a question, he has to repeat it
Right.
so that the rest of it.
How about if I go to that? Okay. Sorry, we're just fooling around with the camera here. And then there'll be some shortcuts that'll be important to know about. For instance, the space bar is for stopping and starting the videos. And if you make a error, you can use Control-Z like you do with Microsoft Word. Sometimes you may want to have a script. Maybe you're going to do a voiceover or have captions. So that may be something you want. And we have, like I mentioned, there'll be royalty-free stock for our video and music that we'll look at. Actually, if you have connected to OneDrive, it will automatically save the video. That's why I said if you're not saving, you may lose it. So be aware of that. Okay. So the hands-on workflows, we're gonna import and organize our clips. We're gonna build a timeline. I wouldn't worry about tagging A-roll and B-roll, but just keep that in mind if you have other videos you've taken. For instance, your video may be on a particular animal, and then you wanna highlight that main video with something else about the animal. You know, it could have some kind of, I don't know, giving some information about how the animal lives. You can have a slide, or you could have even another video. You can add slides to the videos too. And then we'll get into trimming and arranging, adding music, and then finally the preview and the exporting. So why don't I just move ahead, and we'll just get into using Clipchamp. So I'm gonna have to, I don't have it booted up just yet. Any questions on Zoom? Can you hear me? But I can't hear them.
We're here.
Okay, okay. All right, so here's Clipchamp on my computer. And it has some bars at the top. When you first get in, you'll say create a new video. We don't want to get into AI. If you've already created some videos, they will be down below. See how I'm scrolling down?
So mine's kind of stuck on export and share.
At home, they're seeing that. I'm gonna log in.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my slides. Let me get out of that.
Oh, right now.
Okay, can you see Clipchamp now?
Nope.
No. How about now?
Yep. So looks different. Yeah.
Okay. So this is Clipchamp. This should look like what you are getting if you go ahead and turn on your Clipchamp. And it says create a new video, or on the top left. And then if you already have worked with Clipchamp, like I have here, there'll be some other projects. So let me, before we start a new project, let me just show you a short clip of something I put together. So let me just, before I start, you'll see that I have populated the left side with clips, video clips, and some music. And what we'll see here is that on the timeline, you can see on the upper timeline, I've added text. Below that, there are different video clips. And even below that is the music. So that's a basic configuration. So I'm going to just go ahead and play it, and you'll see as this is the player head. As that moves over to the right, you'll see in the viewer what's placed on the timeline. There's a transition there. So I just selected spacebar to stop it, but can you see my cursor? I'm not sure if you can. That little black and white symbol icon between these two clips is the transition. So when I ran this, I'll do it again, you can see how that was a typical what they call crossfade transition between the two clips.
Get rid of this background.
Yeah,
sound.
I know. Okay, now you'll see there's a couple stills there. That's how you enter that. And then it goes back to the video. So one thing to see here is that I had add these still photos on top of the video. And that layering is that the videos or the whatever you put above that takes precedence over the other one. And that kind of depends on a setting that we'll get into a little later. It's called the blend mode. But that's just to give you an oversight of how we can put these together. So what I'd like everybody to do is to go ahead and start a new project, create a new video. And whatever clips you have, go ahead and either import them by where it says import, or just drag them into this area on the left. I can't see what everybody's doing, so as I go ahead, just stop me if you have questions or if I'm moving too fast. If I go to the far left column, you'll see My Media, Record and Create Content Library. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to videos for what I'm doing. And I'm just going to add something down on the timeline. So you drag it over to the timeline with your left click. Good, good. Okay, so the question is, what if there's sound integrated into your video, which is often the case when you have a camera? If you go and you see a little speaker icon on your video, click that and it will mute it. Yeah. If you have music. It'll be on the far left side of your video clip. Now, well, that's your clip, which is on the timeline. That's right, it's on the timeline. Now, one thing about the sound in your, now typically when I take underwater video, I turn that off. In fact, and I use a different program, I just strip it out. But, and then you'll add music, and then I add music below. That's what I typically do, and that's like the one I just showed you. However, you may have heard on part one clip, you heard the bubbles on top of that. So I had both going, the sound and the bubbles, and there's a way to adjust the volume of each of those audio tracks. So you may want to listen to some video bubbles, at a lower volume, and then maybe have the music. So it's up to you. It's your choice, how artistic or however you want to do that. But typically, you want, maybe for now, you're going to want to click that little speaker on the far left of your clip so that you don't hear that. So why don't you play? Well, let's look at one clip though first. Okay. So if you on the right side, if you click on that, you can see you can bring the clip in and out. You can extend it or shorten it from the end. Okay. So why don't you give that a try? Now, a few days ago, I actually found a bug, I think is a bug in Clipchamp. And I spent a lot of time with AI trying to troubleshoot this. But the question is, what about the left side? You should be able to click on the left side of that clip. But if you notice, when I bring it in, it's not trimming the end, the beginning. And so I sent a report to Microsoft about that, and the Microsoft, their AI program, I worked with it, and it said, yeah, that's a bug. So we'll see. It's a problem. It's not supposed to do that. So the question is, how do you trim that side? Then I'll show you right now. So let's move the player head. If you grab the player head, like I'm doing at the top, that black spot, you should be able to move it along and see your video on the top. And this is called scrubbing. Okay. This is a way to look through a video quickly. Once if you don't have a buffering problem like I have here. But I don't know why it's doing that. But most of my videos, I could scrub right through them, and there's not a problem. I could, you can quickly evaluate where you want to delete parts of the video or move it. You can split it out and move it around to another place, or save it for later. We'll do that. So why don't we try the split program right now? Just put the player head like I have here somewhere in your clip that you want to cut, and just use S. That will cut, that'll split the clip at that place. S, the letter S on your keyboard. S. Just do S. No, anywhere you want to cut your clip. It'll just, well, it's not cutting out anything yet. It's just cutting the clip in half or in a quarter or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
it cut this
Yeah.
part, so now this is cut
Yes.
or deleted?
You just created more than one clip. Okay.
I don't have the same-
So for instance, here on mine, Joyce was just wondering, what does it do? Is that your question? So if you put your player head and just select S on your keyboard, it will just split the clip. So here's where I did it here. You can see it's split. So for instance, let me grab this and see how I can move it. Okay. And in fact, you can move your clip anywhere, up, down, to the side, and I can move this one. So for instance, the workaround for this bug is I would move my player head over. Let's say I want to cut that first part, and I'm going to select S. Okay. So that's the part I don't want. So I'm going to highlight. When you highlight a clip, it makes it purple. See, this is purple. Now this is purple. Okay, let's say I don't want that. You select backspace or delete. Okay. So you may want to practice that. Now let's say, uh-oh, I deleted the clip. I didn't want to do that. Okay. What's the Microsoft in Word and Excel? Control Z. So you do a Control Z and it comes right back. So that's an important thing to know.
Bring it back.
There isn't a. Up on top there, there's an undo.
Well, that works too.
Yes, that works too. Undo. The question was about undo. Now I'm handing out a cheat sheet with shortcut clips, but I meant to share it. I will put it on the. I will upload it to Zoom for those in Zoom. I have a cheat sheet and also something about I mentioned earlier about using Shutter encoder, so I'll and add that. Okay, so that's that's pretty much the real basic way we manipulate the clips. We can move them around, we can trim them, we can move them inward. Although the left side, again, is not working correctly, so you have to keep splitting it if you want to get rid of the left side. But as you can see on this one, on the right, see how it's deleting the right side, it's trimming it. You're just creating multiple clips. So I may want to delete that, or heck, let's say I want to move this one over here. And I'm going to delete that one there, and I'm going to move that one over there, okay?
Two rows now you're creating.
I have 2 rows now. Now, I could just move it over here, so it's at the back of this one here now. Okay, see how I moved that? Okay. Now, it'll go immediately. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to play this. The question is, what happens if I do that? So, well, that was pretty quick. That's a pretty quick clip. Okay, I can start.
Bring that far over.
There, see how it jumped. Okay, now let's that's really the basic bread and butter of the clip. Let's look at a few other things. There's some enhancements about this, but I want to look at first, though, is on the very left side. Let's go to transitions. And if you click on that, it will reveal different types of transitions. So what is a transition? It's what happens between the clips, so it doesn't abruptly go from one clip to the other. You know, it could be a completely different clip. It could show a guy, you know, or a shark. In our case, you may see a shark, and then the next clip is you're on the boat. Well, you want something to, you know, transition you from one perspective to another. If you just you could just go erupt, but it may not look as good. So why don't we look at the different transitions and add one? So one that's really popular, which I use a lot, is called the crossfade. So I'm going to left click on crossfade, and then I'm going to drag it over to the little purple square, add transition, it says, okay. And then a little black and white icon will appear after you do that.
That's not a bad.
Now, see, you do have it. There it is.
Way over there.
Way over there. That's where you added. One thing is, if your clips are not adjoining or abutting each other, you may not be able to add a transition. So make sure they're together. Because like what a cross blur does is it takes some of the video from the end of the first and some of the video at the beginning of the second. and it blurs them together. It mixes them together. And so do these other transitions. So for instance, like you can just play around with this. Like here's circular wipe. Now if you don't like the transition you have, you can just overlay your new one, and that will be the one that works. So I'm going to go ahead and move my player head to the left now, and let's see what happens. I'm going to use space bar to make it go. And there you can see, well, it was very quick, but there's a little circle that, and you can try that on your own. You see that, yours?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this is the player head. You can move that around to see the preview window above. And again, there's the little black and white transition icon showing that you have one. Now I just selected Control Z twice because I got out of that. So you still see the split, but I don't have my transition anymore.
Can you put that over to get rid of the white? Cut up again.
That is all the way. Let's see, right there, you see a purple line that goes through. Yeah, there we go. Well, there's still a white line. There'll always be a little white line. Carl's asking about the white line between the two clips, and that'll be there. But a question might be is, what if it's out there? Say, I don't think I can put a trend. Yeah, like I'm gonna put a transition there. Well, I can't. There's no way to do it. Okay, now here's something. Let's say that space in there, you can see it has a little trash bin icon. Delete the gap. So I have a gap, and I just click it, and it automatically abuts the two clips together, put them together. So that's one way you can do it without having to drag. You may have multiple here. You may have multiple splits. See, I'm moving the player head. I'm using S. So I'm just moving this along. Okay, now I'm going to click and delete that. And I'm going to delete that. So here I got two gaps. So I just get rid of those. So why don't I just wait a minute, let everybody try to play around with using the split, S, moving your clips around, using transitions. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Chopped up this video so bad.
yeah, well, again, and it is saving it if you have OneDrive, and it does it automatically. So you may want to make sure you have your original and don't overwrite that. But yeah, make a working copy, maybe you can do that. You never know, you may mess it up. But again, you still have Control Z, which will take you back to the very beginning, I believe. If you just, well, I think you can go all the way. Let's see. See, I'm going all the way back. So, is that right? I don't know if there's a limit on this.
It's big though. I mean,
Yeah. Leslie was just asking if there's a limit on the Control Z. I don't know the answer. How are you doing? It's okay? Okay.
So this one doesn't correct.
Okay.
If I forgot to put my red filter on and now I wanna.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Could you talk about it?
So Van's asking about, does this program correct your clips? Well, it won't correct that dull look I was mentioning, because that was a type of algorithm the camera uses to compress the exposures. So it won't do that. That's why you have to use shutter encoder. But what it does have, and it's limited here, if you go to like I'm using a program now at home called DaVinci Resolve, and it's basically the same program they use in Hollywood for major productions. It can do a lot of anything really, but this is a simple program, video editing, but it's not a bad one. I made some videos pretty good with this. So if you go all the way to the right to answer Vance's question, you can see it says filters or adjust colors. And so it does give some limited ways to adjust your video.
Generate auto cap.
Oh, I got it. This is what it should look like.
Oh, is it this?
I have this.
Click on the clip. By the way, you have to click on the clip in order to, there you go. Now you'll see this. You have to be on the, click the clip in order to see the right bar that includes the filters and effects and that sort of thing.
Undo.
50, Carl looked up the undo question. That was 50. You can all go back. 50 undos.
Yeah, but if you're up anywhere close to that,
And you didn't save it.
yeah.
So here I have adjust color. So I went to adjust colors. I think that was more what you would be using to answer Vance's question, how you can manipulate the colors. So you have exposure, contrast, saturation, temperature, transparency, and this blend mode. I'll talk about that in a minute.
And somebody asked what you can do for the contest. As long as what you do the entire image, you're okay. In other words, if you want to bring out the color, you can bring up the color. As long as you bring up the color in the whole image, you can't spot
Right.
or spot to it. But if you do it to the whole image, that's okay.
So repeat that answer.
I will. Carl was just asking about the question about what you can do to the videos. If you do anything here, it would be your entire video. Like if you use contrast enhance or exposure or saturation or temperature for the entire scene, that's better because you may have clips from different exposures you may not be able to adjust it the same. So for that scene, you'll have to change your exposure and that's okay.
So using adjust colors. It's very acceptable.
That's acceptable.
Right.
Because you're doing it to the whole,
Yeah.
to the whole image, to the whole clip. That's fine.
Put a filter on the camera.
Yeah, it's just like putting a filter on the camera.
Yeah.
The idea.
Can you delete, like, I want to delete, erase images?
Okay.
No.
So Joyce is asking, can you delete, like Photoshop, delete parts of your,
Not enter the content.
Oh,
If
okay.
you, if
Yeah.
you delete something off of it, that's using AI or whatever you do to delete something off of your thing or add a fish or delete a fish, that's not allowed because you're not doing it to the entire video. If you do one of these where you contrast, saturation, that's fine, but you can't add or subtract things from your video.
Okay.
You had a diagram.
Yeah, like,
Can't do that.
oh, but I want to do it for my own.
Well, if you want to do it for your own, fine, but
Yeah,
not to enter it in the content.
Okay.
the question is about deleting for the contest. You cannot do that, but obviously for your own, you can do whatever you want. I don't know whether you can do that in Clipchamp. Do you know that for a fact, Carl? Because I don't,
haven't tried it.
I'm not familiar with the AI features. Yeah. Right. So, the question is, can you delete anything from your videos? And maybe it's not in the basic Clipchamp, but maybe in their AI features. I'm not aware of that, but that'd be something to look at. So anyway, you could play around with exposure, contrast, saturation, temperature. One thing that is missing that other programs have is white balance. Some programs have like a little eyedropper that you move over to the place that you want to use as your neutral gray for white balance. The closest that this program has is temperature. So you could move your temperature around that may somehow adjust how the white balance.
Unless you have
Okay, so that's adjust colors. Speed. Here I mentioned earlier, maybe there's a clip you want to slow down the motion. Like there's a shark coming by and you want to highlight that by slowing down the motion. So here's where you can do that. Again, you have to have that clip selected and then you go to speed. And here you can change the speed. Yeah, and you can slow down the people on the boat. Okay. What's that?
Did you have to add speed to the menu on the right?
Do you have to add speed?
I don't see it.
Do you have your clip clicked on? You have it selected? And then you go to speed.
Oh, because that was the image.
You're in color now. So there's speed. Speed is to the far right, bottom far right is speed. All right.
Because I
We-
think this is what
So going up from the bottom, we had speed, adjust colors, then there's effects. Frankly, I don't use it, but there's all sorts of things you can do to your video. The number of options and permutations and combinations is quite high, so you just have to play around with what you want to do with this program. Here's a slow zoom option. I presume that means it'll zoom into your clip over a certain time period. In fact, here's the speed. I just selected slow zoom and I can zoom in at a certain speed. Sometimes that'll really be good for highlighting a particular animal on your video or person or whatever. If you pick more than one effect, they will be additive. So here I have spin and slow zoom at the same time. So if you select one and you don't want the other, then make sure you deselect it. Okay. Then we had filters on the right. This is, it's basically adjusting it's like presets in Photoshop or Lightroom. It will have different color adjustments and give you that effect, like retro or whatever, vibrant. If you have any questions on Zoom, please let me know because I can't see or hear right now from you.
whatever.
Okay, another important feature when you select it on the clip, I'm going to shorten this clip a little, is the fade. And I use this a lot too. And basically a fade is you can fade in your clip at the beginning or fade out. So let's say I want to fade out for 2 seconds is maximum on this. And so I'm going to move the player head up. Well, actually, this is a very short clip, but I'm going to just play it and you'll see how it fades out. Well, I have the effect, the zoom effect, spinning effect still in there. So maybe I should make that a little bigger. And then it fades out. So similarly, you can do that for the beginning. So I'm going to fade in 2 seconds from the beginning. So I want to go to the beginning and press home. Well, see, on my home, I got all this space. So I'm going to just hit delete. Okay, now I'm going to hit the space bar and it should fade in. Well, it's zooming too. That faded out only. So why is that? Let's take a look. Oh, it wasn't even in. Okay, now I have it in. Let's try again. Okay, there, home. I'm at the beginning, space bar, play it. Fading in, it's spinning because I have that effect in still, and then it fades out.
I don't think you can do if you want to do it. For instance, if you have a title slide or something up there, you can put a fade out and then
Yes.
fade in. That way you don't have a crossfade. You just go
Right.
all the black and then back in. That's a good effect.
Yes, Carl actually, I was going to bring that up, and Carl just mentioned that one way to do a transition is you fade out on one clip and then fade in on the next. And I use that a lot too. And thanks for bringing that up. Okay,
You have to, what if you wanna, like, the title page, like, put a,
yeah, we'll get there.
oh,
That's where it says add text. So the question was, how about adding text? Well, we could do that. We can do that now. So I'm going to go over to the far left and it says text. Click on that and then you'll see in your media area the different types of the different options you have for your text. So I'm just going to take the plain text and then add it. I'm putting it on top. And then in the far right, it says text. And it says, gives you the different types. But if I click in the actual preview where it says add your text here, I'm going to go, and there's your text. So if I play this, now if you see the text in pink, it says desert on it. That text bar extends across the entire video. So that text will be seen for that entire clip. Now, maybe I only want to show part of it. Now, if you see the player head now is way over here, I'm going to move it here. You don't see it. But if I move it all the way to the beginning, then that'll be there. Okay. Now, notice also that you don't see the clip underneath it. It's just black. So I'm going to select clip. And then I'm going to adjust colors. And then there's blend mode. I think this is how you do it. Let's see. Well, I guess not. Okay, that's only the blend modes means if you put an effect above your clip, then you can blend them. But as far as the text, let's see here. Oh, I know. It's because if you look at the plain text, it has a black background. If you go on this text, creator, and I'm going to get rid of this one. Oh, God. Hang on. I'm back. I'm plugged back in again. Okay. Having a problem with my, yeah, it's charging now. Thanks. Okay. So I'm going to delete this one. Oops.
Is the creator just a different font?
There's different, puddle, it's a different type.
Okay. As you can see, I can still see my clip this time with the overlay of the text. How do I know that? Well, if you look at your media text types, those black and white squares means basically transparent. It's transparent. If it has a black background, then you're only going to see black. So here's the text box. Maybe if I just want to, instead of that kind of a font or typeface, instead of that one, that's just your basic text. But
Change
you can see all the different options you have here. Now, let's say I want to change the text. This typeface, I have a drop-down menu. And so I can select any type of typeface here or size. Of course, that's a little too small there. Another thing about this preview we haven't gotten to yet, you can right-click on the preview and do different things about that. You can copy, paste, crop. If you want to crop just part of your video, you know, you want to, maybe there's some stuff on the top that persists through your video, you don't want it. Well, you can just crop your image to a certain size. Can rotate it, flip it, more options. I'm not sure what that is. Also notice at the very top, it's hard to see on with the sharing here. On your PC, you would be able to see different formats of your clip. So if you go to the top of your preview screen, it says size. Left click that, and you'll have different options for the aspect ratio of your video. So like it says there, a 16:9 is YouTube and streaming sites. 9:16 is Instagram, Reels, and TikTok. Instagram posts 1:1 is a square. So you have those different options. You see that, Vance? No?
On the right,
Yeah, buffering,
Click on your.
Here?
Yeah. I guess you have to wait for the,
yeah,
I'm not sure why it's doing that.
because this should be on my computer. Maybe it's dragging it in.
Because you see the very top.
If it's a very big file, if you have a very big file, it could be buffering a lot. So you may want to cut your clip.
way on the top,
Yeah.
that's part of Zoom. You can
No,
get
no,
rid of
no.
No, no,
that'd
no.
be Right below.
I'm showing her the size. No, right here, size. No, but I'm showing her this right now. That's size.
But if you go to more, you can say, hide floating,
Oh, I see what you're saying on this.
Yeah.
Oh,
hide
okay.
floating meaning. Up one, yep, no, one, right there.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ken.
there.
Perfect. Thanks.
I don't-
Okay.
I have the share and export, but I don't have. the-
Any questions from Zoom?
Oh,
Yeah, there you
Carl, how do I get back?
He needs to get his screen back so he can zoom.
How can I get back to the Zoom control?
go. Escape.
How do I see the participants? Just click on her? Okay. Oh, I see a lot. Okay, there's no video. Okay. So go ahead and add some text, play around with that. At this point, we've learned how to add clips, manipulate, trim them, split them, looking at the different color adjustments, and adding text. So go ahead and play around with that. You can move your, as I mentioned, your important shortcut keys are the space bar for starting and stopping your video, Control Z for, or delete, or backspace for deleting a clip, and then Control Z for getting out of that. This particular clip has a little speaker icon, but there's no embedded audio.
How do you get audio?
Okay. The segue. How do we get audio? Okay. So let's move over to that because this takes a little time now. Let's go back over to the left side to content. Okay. What is in content? Well, I selected videos because I wanted to add a video here rather than from my laptop. I'm going to go ahead and click out that, and you can see what other kind of content is available. For instance, shapes. You know, I could add a has a little plus sign. That's what you would do if you wanted to do that. Add a shape. I'm going to do Control Z. I'm going to move my player head back over here. Maybe it's a circle. Now I can manipulate the shape. I'm going to move so I'm going to get out shapes. Let's just introduce you to that. You got arrows, different patterns, hand drawn. This is kind of a, it's hearts. Okay. So I'm going to get out of hand drawn. I'm going to get out of shapes. Now I'm going to move down a little. There are other collections here. Annotations, videos, stickers, backgrounds, images, frames and borders, sound effects. Okay, but what I want to do now, let's go to music. So I'm going to go ahead and click that arrow. And this will take us to their own collections of different types of music. And if you get into music libraries, there's different ways that they use different keywords to try to categorize that genre of music or the vibe, or and so I spent quite a bit of time looking at music, and because it really sets the mood of your video. I think music is very important for a video, but of course it all depends on the message and the vibe you want to have for your video. The first one I played with the Fiji shark dive, you heard the music I put in, and I got that from one of these here. So if you want to play with that, I had proposed that you put on your earbud or headset to listen to the music. I mean, we could try without doing that, but I didn't know how many people we're going to have here. But I go ahead and start playing around with adding music and see how it sounds with your video. Now, one way to look at the music before adding it is you put your arrow on, and there's a little arrow like a whole hog. so I can hear what I may want. Well, I'm not sure I want that. Charging up. So I'm probably not in the right category of music. So for underwater videos, typically I'll go to something like, I don't know, ambiance, or they have different names for them. Let's see what it says here. Cool, rhythmic. Maybe fun. Um, electronic might work. Atmospheric. So let's see what that's. Ocean sunrise. For a pizza? Oh, yeah. Leslie asking for a pizza. Yeah, well, a romantic pizza. Okay. But thinking in terms of what you have on the screen, I don't know if you all have underwater photos. You may, pick the music that makes sense for your video.
And it does, Jack, it also looks like it tells you the length of the video.
Yes, of the audio. Okay, so let's go ahead and once you pick one you like, let me go down. Here's upbeat. So I'm going to grab it and drag it below the video. Okay. And it'll load it. And then you want to move it. And so it corresponds with your video. Now, notice one thing here. First of all, this panel on my right is using up some real estate. There's a little icon here. I'm going to select that, and that gets rid of that right panel. And notice that my music has gone off the right. So I can use the minus or plus to expand or contract the clips I see, the timeline, or I have something here that says fit timeline. So now you can see that audio is way longer than that tiny little clip I put up. I mean, that clip is just a couple seconds. Normally would have, several minutes. So it would show up better. But I could even click on this clip and say duplicate. So that's a Control D. So if I do Control D a lot, I've got a lot of duplicates. So let's say I want to align my audio with my video. I can grab the right end and let's move my player head. Grab the right end, and there'll be a little purple vertical line that'll tell you that you've been synced up there. Now, if I move my bar at the very left, and then at the very beginning, it's possible that this might be also out of alignment. So make sure you've brought it all the way to the beginning with the beginning of your video. And I got that zoom effect still in there. Now, earlier we said some of your videos may have embedded music in it or sound. This is where you can blend them together. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, if I go to audio, I can see I'm clicking on audio on the right. I've clicked on the audio and I can adjust the volume of that audio. Now, let's say I had a video clip with sound in it. You click on that video and go to audio on the right, and you can adjust that. So you can hear maybe some subtle bubbles and then have some music at the same time. I typically just mute the bubbles, but you never know. So just give you all a little time. You got some music?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you try it out?
no,
Oh, are you going to?
no.
Oh,
Oh, wait, I don't have,
oh, you don't, you could do it anyway.
yeah.
No, okay, okay. Vance, are you getting it? What's that? Yes. Carl just pointed out, oops, somebody's got their mic on. I have a list of uh, royalty-free websites where you can download music other than from Clipchamp. And that's on a handout I printed out and sent. I will upload that for you also. But I found that these particular websites are very good for music. And I've spent a lot of time listening to them. And some of them are, they're quite good. These are people that are trying to make a living, they're artists. And some of them require payments, but a lot of them don't, or they require donation or attribution. So I've uploaded some of my videos with their music, like on my Flickr website, and I attribute, who wrote the music or played the music. So you may want to be aware of that. Roy, the royalties. Yeah,
Royalty would be.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, though. I've not done it. I'm not sure if that's true or it's a one-time payment. Because if you upload it on a website, you're not going to pay every time somebody views it. Oh,
Carl?
You usually get to use it, royalty free on one non-commercial. If you want to use it on multiple, even if it's
well, these websites don't say that. Oh, the question is about what is royalty or royalty free. Anyway, these websites you can go onto that'll upload. You can go there and see what their rules are, but I don't particularly remember them saying anything about a limit on how many places or times a music that's royalty free can be played. But there are definitely some that require payment, and then they may, obviously have different rules.
I'll stand up.
Okay.
So they can hear me.
Yeah.
One of the issues with the photo contest last year is that somebody actually went online and bought the privilege to play Jimmy Buffett on their
Oh,
video. Can't do that. Just because he bought it doesn't mean he gets to play it. And if we load it up onto YouTube or any other media, it won't play. So
oh,
just point of information.
even if they bought
Even if
the royalty,
that is correct.
it's our own rules or what?
No, that's
copyright.
copyright rules.
Well, what is the royalty payment for then?
We,
You can use it for non-commercial purpose.
Yeah,
but we were it wouldn't play.
You post it
It
on.
wouldn't
the
play.
It wouldn't
internet,
play.
it won't play.
We posted it on, tried to post it on YouTube and it would
oh,
not
on
play.
YouTube. Okay,
So just,
that's
but,
something.
but some of these that are on here, they're just short little clips that there's no problem with that.
Right.
Because that's why they're on this site. So,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the YouTube rules with music because I'm not something I've done. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
How would you do this mostly for just videos or slideshow for still pictures?
do that.
I added like a still, but it just copied.
Okay, so Joyce asked about what else can you do? Let me go back to one of my whether you can add stills, and of course you can. So I'm going to go back to this video I showed at the beginning, Fiji. And I may recall I'm going to move the player head in through here. I overlaid some stills here. So I brought my stills into my media pool area here. I just dragged it over from, and you can get your stills for different ways. You just from a camera, or you can do a screenshot of a part of the video and then import that screenshot into the media pool and use that as a still. So if I add those stills above that video, it will take, because it's above the video, it'll take precedence. So watch when I play this. You'll see it freeze. So now it's getting into the still. There's still number 1. There's still number 2. And then it'll go into the video. And then let's try something else here.
And you can make still as long as
What's,
same like
Okay.
what is
So,
that timeline still there?
okay. So the question is, what are these timeline the still ends? So there's different timelines, different layers of the cake. So, and one question was, how do you make that still last longer or shorter? Well, you just grab the end of that still and expand it, just like the text that was on its own timeline. So that'll last longer or shorter, as however long or short as I want it. As I move, like the handle, I click on that handle.
default.
Now, one thing I wanted to try, as we mentioned earlier, if I click on this clip here in purple and I go to fade, I'm going to go fade out. 2 seconds. We talked about using fade out and fade in as a transition. So then I'm in this clip, even though the player head isn't there, I highlighted this clip and I'm going to go a fade in. Okay, let's see how this works now. So I have a transition by fading out, fading in and out here. So I'm going to go ahead and I put the player head here. Now I'm going to use space bar. See, fade out and fade in. So that's a really nice effect for transitioning. You can do it there. Vance asked whether you could do it for the slide, and if I clicked on the slide and you can see the fade feature. Shelley, you still there? Oh, Shelley's gone. Okay. Any questions? Everybody doing okay on the internet side?
Check it.
Shelley's still showing. Shelley, you're there? How come you're on, Joyce?
I can see, like, sometimes I can't read very.
Oh.
Why didn't you tell me that at the beginning?
It's, oh, oh, yeah, yeah. And then I also. might just- I'll take it
Dale, you still there?
if I want.
No, it's not there. I know that.
Dale, are you on mute? Oh, wait a minute. I have it muted. Oh, it has to, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I hope everybody's been following. I'm not hearing.
I'll turn the video.
Oh, who's that? Oh, turn your mic off. I hope we didn't lose anybody.
Well, I know Shelley had another. She already-
But she's still on here.
He's listening.
Dale, are you still with us on Zoom?
Charlie. Yeah, I'm on there temporarily.
Okay, I'm not hearing Dale.
Wrap it up.
I'm
impressed.
well, I'd like to see,
Hardly get home and work.
I was hoping that,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of resources for training. Personally, you can use AI to help you go through this and answer questions. I use that a lot. What I was hoping is that we could make some videos and now we have to learn how to export them. So let's say you want to export your video, there's a top right button and it'll say export video. So top right purple,
One that says export.
the one that says export. And you can pick the quality and then just use export. What I was hoping we could do today is you work on some videos and then share it, but I'll leave it up to you guys.
I got
Okay,
because I just quick videos.
okay,
Yeah, That's how they export.
okay, all right.
I deleted one drive.
Oh, here's it.
You have it one drive on there, especially if you have Windows 11, just take a screenshot every few seconds. So I didn't want it to do that, so I deleted it.
And I think that's where change location. You can change where it sends it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I try not to do that. So what quality do you save it as, Jack?
Well, it depends where you want to use it, or, like 1080p's, but it's going to take a greater file size, but it'll give you more resolution, better colors than a 720. Oh.
No more than 4K. That's what.
Yeah,
Okay,
so 1080p is fine.
pay 1080.
720, yeah, I would either do 1080 or 4K.
Yeah, that's 720.
That's where we,
So saying it doesn't make a difference.
well, it doesn't make that much between 1080. I would use 720.
Okay, well, okay.
I'd use 1080 or 4K. But if you have 8K, I wouldn't go to 8K because the projector won't. I mean, it'll show it as 4K.
Any questions? I am uploading right now this presentation.
Good.
I am also, oh, that is not right.
So we're ending this and let's close it with thank you for coming and let us the next one.
Okay. So if I'm not hearing any further questions, so we'll go ahead and stop. Oops, what happened? There's Charlie. Charlie, not hearing you.
Well, he's muted. Joyce is muted.
Yeah, but they can hear me.
Yeah.
So when I say, can you hear me? Charlie, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, that's right. I got
Okay.
distracted for a minute, so I was off screen.
Oh, okay. I was just asking if you had any questions or you're good.
Yeah. I'll have to work with it a bunch more, but
I think that's what we all decided. Yeah. So at this point, let's conclude this great presentation. Thank you, Jack, for all the work you've done. I think we've all learned a lot. We can hardly wait to
I
get
think it was
started.
great.
Thank you.
Watch for the Desert Dolphins newsletter, Facebook and Instagram for details, because we did record it. So for all of us that want to go back and check, our photo contest, video contest deadline is October and November. Give us a couple days and we'll be putting this recording up on our YouTube channel. And our next class is
September 23rd.
September 23rd with the topic of choosing your best photos. It will be a Zoom presentation. Look for our Facebook page, web page for more details. Adrian Cardoni will be the presenter.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good to see you, Charlie.